Hello, everyone. Welcome back to WXUT 88.3. This is AJ back with the Plexi Film Show. This is show 4. In this episode, I will be talking about Monster House. And if you guys do not know, Monster House is a 2006 animated kids horror movie. It revolves around a cranky old man named Nevercracker who lives in a house possessed by his deceased wife, and his wife, Constance, hates kids, so whenever kids get near the house, she gets furious. Nevercracker would be forced to then scream at the kids to stay away. That was my form of the synopsis of the film, but the whole summary of the short film is no adults believe these three youths' assertion that a neighboring residence is a living creature that means them harm. With Halloween approaching, the trio must find a way to destroy the structure before innocent trick-or-treaters meet ghastly ends. So yeah, that's the summary of the whole movie. Before we move on, I just want to warn you all. Spoilers ahead to those who have not seen this yet. If you do not want the film to be spoiled for you, I will tell you guys to move on and watch the movie first, then come back to listen to this episode. So yeah, I want to continue on talking about the movie, of course. I would rate the movie a 6.7 out of 10. Sure, the animation has aged, and the story is like really short and simple, but it's very, very effective. Like I said, I wouldn't consider it a great movie. I wouldn't say it's the worst movie because it's not, but it is very, very effective movie. My favorite character would be Chowder, because he's funny, he's whimsical, and in those two characteristics, he flirts really funny. But yeah, some of my favorite scenes in this movie would have to be Chowder shooting the basketball and bouncing off the rim and hitting him in the face. I like it because all I can think of is all the memes made about this specific scene. I wouldn't be surprised if you have not seen the scene, and if not, just look up Chowder memes. It'll probably be the first thing that pops up is this specific scene. I promise you that. Another favorite scene of mine in this movie would have to be a vacuum dummy scene where they have to make a person out of a vacuum sweeper with sweater, clothes, mask, and etc., to enter the house of Nevercracker. I just think it's a really cool montage and figure out how they decide to get this to work in the end. I just find it really cool, just a little silly of a movie because it's definitely what kids would think about in this sort of situation and scenario. Another favorite short scene, I wouldn't say this is a shorter scene, but this is I would say it's a pretty long scene. It's a flashback scene because it gives the whole story on why the house is even haunted in the first place, along with more of who Constance is and how she met Nevercracker, as well as why Constance is overprotective of the house. If you guys do not know, Constance, I'll give you some backstory of Constance. Constance was part of the circus and not appreciated by a lot of people because of her weight, and she is very self-conscious of that, and kids would be making fun of her, so that's why she never likes kids, is because she gets made fun of, and she got bullied because of her weight, which is not cool. But that's why. Another reason is she never really had a place where she felt like it was home, so when Constance and Nevercracker started building the house, the kids would start throwing stuff at the house, and they're putting a house together. It's her prized possession, so she feels like these kids are ruining everything for her, like she did with the whole circus situation that made her life crap. So yeah, those are some of my favorite scenes, my favorite character, the synopsis of the movie, rating. But yeah, I'll give you guys a character list on the whole movie. because it's really good to know. Wait 1 second. So let me look that up. So you have Nevercracker, you have Skull, but our main character is DJ, and then and Chowder. Then of course Nevercracker. Then you would have Jenny, Z, Bones, and a couple other more characters that are really important to the film. Honestly, expected a lot more characters in this film. It is very, very like I said, it's a very simple, very short film that there's so much lore behind it because of how much there is, but there's also a lot in these scenes that are hidden but not told in the movie. But yeah, like I said, Chowder is my favorite character. But yeah, this is AJ with the Plexi Film Show. I'll be returning back, continuing about some theories. I have 3 theories for you guys today before we move on past the theories. But the first theory that we'll be talking about is House becoming human again. So the soul of Constance becoming human again. So that'll be my first theory. So I hope you really enjoy this so far. Like I said, this is AJ with the Plexi Film Show, WXUT 88.3. So yeah, I'll be putting on some Monster House original soundtrack music for you guys to listen to during these breaks. So yeah, enjoy. Hello everybody, welcome back to WXUT 88.3. This is AJ back with the Plexi Film Show, where I break down movies, games, TV shows, and many more media. But those are the top three medias I break down on each show each week. This week, like I said, I am talking about Monster House, and in this segment, I will be talking about the first theory, which is about the house becoming human again. Also, I did forget to say this before the break. Happy St. Patrick's Day, everyone. I really hope every one of you guys are enjoying this great, beautiful day, especially on how sunny it was all day. It was not too cold, not too hot. But yeah, hope everyone had a great St. Patrick's Day, and we still got 2 hours left until the end of St. Patrick's Day, and you're listening to me right now. So I hope you're enjoying listening in onto the show. But if you're not, like I said, during these shows, I don't care if you're doing your chores, watching a movie. You could be watching Monster House right now. That would be a fun time, talking about Monster House, or watching Monster House and listening to me talk about Monster House. That's a fun time. But yeah, let's go into it. So the house becoming human again. So I'll break down each body part of the house. So the house becoming human again. The body parts are the trees would be the hands and arms. The door is the teeth. The foyer is like the inside of mouth. The front door, or the front windows, I should say, are the eyes. The chandelier is like the uvula, and the rug is the tongue. The furnace is the heart. Brain is the only thing that's like unknown, because you would think it would be where between the eyes and right above, or between the eyes right above, the eyes, but it's not. There's no I was trying to look more into this, and I couldn't find what the brain would be, because Nevercracker, once he made this house, he wanted to resemble a face, because Constance died, before the house was fully built, and to remember it, he wanted to make the house resemble a face. So that's the body parts of that. Nevercracker knows the house becoming, alive and becoming more human, and you can hear him talking about the house as a living being or a living human, because it's Constance's soul living in the house. What else would it be? So you would think, Constance would be friendly, but like Constance is becoming real, and if she becomes real along with, the house, it's not Constance is not going to be in a really great position and condition overall. So the best way to do this, because so Constance isn't hurting anyone anymore and hurting herself, Nevercracker wants to destroy this house before it gets worse. And you can hear him state that more along the lines towards the end of the film. Like I said, Nevercracker knows the house becoming more and more real, so he wants to blow it up. And back in his day before he was jobless, he worked for the Army military. I can't remember what branch specifically, but he worked for the demolition. He destroyed stuff, so that makes sense why he would want to blow this up. Along with, if you look into each scene of the house on the inside specifically, especially going downstairs of the house, which is the inside of this living creature, you get to see dynamite and explosives everywhere, which explains a lot, because, he worked for the demolition in the Army. Constance's soul is fallen into the house, because if you remember this, when she was trying to step back, because Nevercracker was trying to help, push her away so she doesn't hurt the kids, because the kids were throwing food at the house, and Constance didn't like that. And Nevercracker was trying to stop from Constance charging at these kids, and then when she tried to step back away from falling, she fell into the house, along with accidentally pouring concrete over her and killing her. So yeah, that's where the soul lives in the house. Nevercracker starts building the house over. You would think that he would move somewhere else, especially, or try to dig up Constance from all that, but he just proceeds to leave her there. Like, I just find that really suspicious on Nevercracker's side of things, because he could do so much more to, keep her alive. So I feel like there's a theory right then and there. Why didn't he try to save her? Like, did she die on impact from falling that deep, into straight, hard ground? Or did she die from the concrete pouring over her? Either way, if you can get her out in a specific amount of time, you could really save her, but he just kind of just ignored it and just built the house over Constance, which the soul of Constance just grew into the house. I don't know. Kind of just adapted to it. So the body, like I said, body found its way into the house, So, that's house becoming more human. Like I said, Nevercracker doesn't want Constance to become more real in a house form, which would be kind of dangerous overall, especially trying to protect, everything, and because she never liked kids, so she could do a lot of damage there, and you don't want that to happen. As you could tell, towards the end of the film, the house does get away from that specific spot and started charging at the kids, and eventually the house does get blown up from dynamite that Nevercracker had stored in his house at the junkyard. So yeah, I thought that was an interesting theory. It's kind of obvious that the house was, built like a facial structure, but it's still cool overall. Kind of gives a little bit more background of Nevercracker more so, and kind of the science of things, quote, science of the soul and body of the film. So yeah, this is it for this segment. I'll see you guys at 10:40. So yeah, I hope you guys really enjoyed this segment. The next segment is a second theory that I have for you tonight, which is, what if Constance was still alive? Like, what would she be doing in the scenario, and how much that would change the story? All I can tell you, it wouldn't change too much, considering she would come out alive in a live form instead of the house, but she would probably still do the same actions, but in human form. So yeah. That's a little sneak peek of the next part. I'll see you guys in 10 minutes. This is AJ with the Plexi Film Show on WXUT 88.3. So yeah, keep enjoying the soundtrack of Monster House. Welcome back to WXUT 88.3. This is AJ back with the Plexi Film Show, and we are continuing on with the theories that I have lined up for you guys. In this theory that I will be focusing on in this segment would be, what if Constance was still alive? That's a very good question, considering that she is dead in the film, but her soul is still alive, but in a house. But what if she was in human form? What would the film be like? So that's always a good question. The changes, that would be, of course, she's a human. It would start out with very little changes. The little girl that you see in the beginning, she will, instead of the little girl getting attacked by Nevercracker, it would be, of course, Constance. And instead of the bike being destroyed, it would, be the little girl being hurt instead, which is a sad thing. But yes, that's one of the main reasons why it's a house that's potentially alive instead of a human that would actually do that stuff. So, like I said, that intro would be like that. Continuing on in the story, Chowder's ball lands in Nevercracker's yard, and instead of Nevercracker having all the stress of protecting the house and protecting the kids so they don't get attacked by Constance, because every time the kids are on, the lawn of some sort, they get attacked by the house. So, and the stress of keeping all the kids alive, along with making sure Constance is happy, is putting a lot of stress on Nevercracker. So instead of him having a heart attack and passing out on DJ while, all they were doing was just trying to get Chowder's ball back. Chowder's ball lands in Nevercracker's yard. He had a heart attack, but instead it'd be Constance probably having a heart attack instead, or they would be hurting, or Constance would be hurting DJ and Chowder over this whole situation. Constance would also be chasing the kids a lot more. I feel like instead of just the yard, I know that Constance would be chasing the kids all around the neighborhood on foot, making sure these kids are staying away from the house and making sure that her precious, aka the house, is all safe too. Nevercracker would, of course, be working still. He would probably still be working in the army for demolition or another place, considering at this time in the film and whatever time it is or how old Nevercracker is. He's just getting too old, so I feel like he would also just have a chill job, a really relaxed job, or he'd just be recently getting to retirement. You never know. But that would also be the change as well. The plans at the three would be different as well. Instead of, trying to get in the house sneakily, like faking a human being, it would be just trying to lure Constance out of making noise and going into the house so they can go in the house and figure out the story instead of faking a human, if that makes sense. Because, like I mentioned before, that they've decorated this vacuum sweeper or cleaner, whatever you want to call it, with sweaters and clothes of a normal human being would wear. Just to make it, also with a Halloween mask. So I feel like if they try to do that scenario when Constance is alive still and in a human form, she would be like, that's not a real person. It's like, what is going on? So yeah, I feel like it definitely would be a good distraction. Sort of. I feel like they still would use the sweeper, put it on the sidewalk, turn it on, because it'd probably still make noise to cause attention to Constance to draw her out of the house. And so, like I said, the plans would change. Some of the plans I found in a video that I will be putting on my website, the plans would be sneaking in, find the basement, find Jenny, because Jenny would also be captured at this point. Because if you saw the film, Jenny doesn't believe that the house is haunted and gets picked up and, possibly almost being eaten by the house. But instead, she would just be captured by, Constance. They would all get caught. They'd all run and hide and pretty much play a cat and mouse game over and over and over. And then they'd eventually escape, of course. Like I said, the kids would end up escaping. Constance would be kidnapping children on Halloween. So, this theory that I saw this on, it was a really good theory. They did a lot better explaining it than I did. I just kind of summarized it to a shortened version. And in my wording, of course, a little bit differently. But like I said, if you want to look at any of my sources that I use, they will all be on my website as soon as I can after, the show. So, yeah. This is the Plexi Film Show, WXUT 88.3. I will be doing the weather at 11 o'clock. So I'll be doing that. And I'll also be going, that'll be the next time I will be on. So yeah, please enjoy the soothing sounds of the original motion soundtrack of Monster House. If you guys ever want to give me suggestions on what movies or films I should talk about, or games or TV shows I should talk about, please send them to my Instagram at AJ_Reineck, REINECK. So please do not be afraid to DM me on any suggestions that you guys have that you want me to talk about on this show. It can even just be a little bit of a question that I should talk about during a show along with the media I talk about. I don't care. Give me any ideas that you want me to talk about on the show. I am willingly open to talk about these subjects. If you guys ever want to call in and be on a show, please call the studio. The phone number is 419-530-4455. So yeah, if you ever want to be on a show, call that number during the times on Sunday from 10 p.m. to 12 a.m. Either or, if I'm at break time or not, I'll still pick up a phone and put you guys on air and talk to you. Just that awesome. So yeah. Hopefully you guys all enjoyed this part. See you guys back on at 11. This is AJ with the Plexi Phone Show, WXUT 88.3. I am going to be continuing on with the last theory that I have for you tonight. But first, before we continue on, we should definitely check the weekly weather report. Let me look it up for you. Alrighty. So tonight, ending with 28 degrees as your lowest of the whole night. Starting off tomorrow, high 41, low of 28, mostly cloudy, 11% chance of rain with 14 miles an hour wind. Tuesday, high of 50, low of 32, and it's cloudy, 3% chance of rain, 17 mile an hour winds. Wednesday, we have 42%, or 42%. 42 is our high, 21 is our low, partly cloudy, 12% of rain with 18 miles an hour wind. Thursday with high of 41, low of 30, partly cloudy, 0% chance of rain with 5 miles an hour wind. And then Friday, high of 41, low of 29 with rain and snow showers, 51% chance, and 8 miles an hour winds. Saturday looking like 43 degrees as high, 30 as low, partly cloudy. It's 13% chance of rain and 12 miles an hour wind. And then last day, which is next Sunday, which is the next show I'll be having. It's 42 as our high, 37 as the low, so it seems pretty stable that day. Partly cloudy, 13% chance of rain, and 12 miles an hour wind. So it seems like it's staying in the 40s all week. So that's pretty decent. Could be better. I'm just kind of ready for spring already. Like, come on, man. Just give us our spring that we need. Winter's over. If you really wanted winter Ohio, you should have had it between December and February. It's March, almost April. Why do we need snow? Come on, man. It's time to switch it up. Anywho, we're going to be continuing on the last theory that I have for you guys, which is a pretty long theory, actually. It's Z and Bones' secret band was Skull. So Skull and Bones shirt that you see Z wear, especially when you get first introduced her once the parents are gone and sends DJ upstairs. You see her wearing a Skull and Bones t-shirt. Bones' nickname, if you do not know, it is Z's boyfriend's nickname. So if you didn't know that. Bones is mentioned to be in a rock band. Skull is a nerdy gamer in the film, of course, and opposite personality of Bones. Skull and Bone has shared a bad story together, both part of a band, which is clearly Skull and Bones that you see on Z's shirt again. But the thing is, they must have split up because clearly they're not seen doing anything special. You don't see anything special events or concerts that you see, so they are definitely they're split up. So if to give some hints and background information to figure out that they definitely might have been part of a band together. Next to the arcade that is next to Skull, there's a poster of the band that says Skull and Bones, where it was a concert, so they must have done some concerts. Z uses Skull to get Bones to fall in love with her. That's the sad thing. That's a really sad thing. It's like a big old love triangle going back and forth is the reason the band split up. That is because if you see towards the end of the film when Skull is hanging out with Z, Skull has like a face. He has a look on his face like, oh crap, I know what you're doing. You've done this before. And he just realized that he messed up and this crap's going all over again. So Z uses Skull to get Bones to fall in love with her. Again, the love triangle's back and forth. That's the reason why they split up. Z could have been the roadie, or Z was definitely a roadie in the band. Skull and Bones, if you see the tape that Z puts in the player and starts dancing to, it says Skull and Bones, which is labeled Skull and Bones Live at the Smell. Further indication, they definitely had gigs together. Skull and Bones did. They definitely had gigs together. They must have been big enough at that time. Sorry. Where they definitely had enough money and had a big enough attraction and followers to do this stuff. At the end of the film, Skull has a realization on his face that I've mentioned before, confirming he knows what Z is doing, which is getting back together with Bones. Bones could have been manipulating Z into the band crew, and Skull just got in the middle of all of this drama, which I really do feel bad for Skull. He's just kind of like want to get his name out there, do what he likes. But thank goodness Skull found something that he likes and pursues it. So he does that by playing a lot of video games, which video games are awesome. Again, if you want me to talk about some video games, please don't be afraid to send me some video game ideas. I'm willing to talk about them. Even if it's multiple episodes of it or not, I'm willing to talk about it. I'd love to. I've only had 4 shows, and I've done movies, 3 animated, 1 real life. So yeah. They definitely, the drinking and partying scene was probably too much for Skull as well. So he became a gamer instead and worked at the pizza joint that you see on his hat and the vehicle that you see at the end that he drives. So you can totally tell Skull just kind of wasn't a big fan of all the drinking and partying that goes along with becoming a rock star, because that's what they were, rock stars. They were really good at what they're doing. I'm guessing Skull was the lead singer and Bones was a guitar player or a drummer. I can't tell, but definitely Skull was a singer. Like, man, who wouldn't want to hear Skull sing? That'd be awesome. That theory, I kind of figured this was going to be a theory that I talked about on this show, because the last time I watched this, which was Saturday, so yesterday, I wanted a refresher. That's what I do with all my films. I like to rewatch them so I know what I'm talking about and what makes sense. I paid attention closer to the t-shirt that Z was wearing. And I'm glad I did, because I never really thought about Skull and Bones even being in a band. Because one, when I was younger, I didn't really pay attention to those 2 side characters because they weren't too crucial to the story, so I didn't really memorize their names. I just thought they were funny or weird characters because they didn't really last long in the film. They didn't really have much showtime, so you don't really see them that much. They didn't add much to the story at all, but it has a lot of backstory along with them, and I feel like that they could have added so much here with that. But yeah, I thought that was really cool that they added this part of the backstory. The next segment I'll be talking about would be the hints and Easter eggs throughout the film. I think that'd be really cool, considering I've done some Easter eggs in the past shows and hints. And then after that, I'll be going over the reviews of this movie that people has placed online and overall reviews in general. As well as, I want to add a question at the end of each show that is correlated with this movie. I feel like that'd be really, really fun to do. I don't know. I'll think about it on the next 2 breaks that I have, because we have an hour. We have an hour to talk about whatever. But this is at the end for this segment. I really hope you guys enjoyed this segment. Stay tuned. I'll be back on at 11:20. This is WXUT 88.3. This is AJ with the Plexi Film Show. And enjoy the original motion soundtrack. Wow, I can't speak. So yeah, this is the break. Enjoy. Hello everybody, welcome back to WXUT 88.3. This is AJ back with the Plexi Film Show. I am just giving you a heads up. This segment is going to be really short. I could not find many Easter eggs as is. I only found 1, and I only found 2 some sort of hints, and I'm currently still looking for more product placement in this movie, considering it is an animated movie. It is very short and simple, so it is hard to find those product placements, because product placements are usually found in live action movies usually. So yeah. What I was able to find though, for hints and some background information, I guess, is that in the beginning, after the ambulance takes away Nevercracker, we see DJ and Chowder from a window pane in the house. Specifically, it was a shot from the house looking out at him. You can see a small crack forming, around the same area of DJ's neck, kind of informing us that DJ's in danger. He is the one that caused this, quote, death of Nevercracker. If it's first time of you watching this, you're not going to know that, Nevercracker comes back alive. But he does, but the house doesn't know that he's still alive. Constance doesn't know that he's still alive. He's fine. So that crack kind of informs us that it was all DJ's fault and that he's in very big danger. And kind of, because if you think about it, another point that I'm surprised I didn't write down, but I noticed, is when the chimney, which is the heart of the house, aka the heart of Constance, because she's becoming one with the house. Once Nevercracker dies, you can see the windows crying. You can see the chimney like steaming up, smoking up a lot more than usual. So, like I think she was also furious, but also very sad at the exact same time. So I feel like that was a really cool detail that, not many people notice, but it also isn't hard to find. So yeah. This is kind of a cool kind of hint, but coincidence that if you don't really know, but the film answers our questions for us. So the poster of Constance, when we see in the flashback scene, wow, I can't speak. You see a poster of Constance when she's she is being part of the circus. The quote on the poster says, "The woman as big as a house," indicating she is the house, as well as the poster emphasizing her body size, but also inhabits that her spirit has, inhabited an entire house. Her soul and conscience is part of the house. She's one with the house. She is the house now. That's where she is. So, the house is her body. It's her whole head-to-toe body now instead of her human form body, because her conscience is in the house now. One of the Easter eggs I was able to find, because I really wouldn't say it was an Easter egg. It's a product placement. I tried to find more product placements that made sense, because most of them were just kind of movie references, which makes sense. But I wanted to find more materialistic product placements. One was that, they were obsessed with Mr. Clean. I was thinking back when I saw this, I really don't see that obsession at all. Maybe the convention that the parents are going to, that's an indicator, but that's pretty much it. You don't really see anything else there. That's all I was able to find for product placement. I'm trying to look up Easter eggs right now. Let's see here. Because I wanted to... Let's see here. Monster House Easter eggs. There was a lot of movie posters. I'm trying to think back what was on DJ's wall and all that. I couldn't find much. But I'm sorry that this is a very short segment, but the next segment is going to be the last segment. Unless if I can find anything. But as of right now, this upcoming next segment, I'll see you guys on at 11:40. So yeah, hope you guys enjoyed this Easter egg and hints segment. Sorry, it's really short and small, but that's all I was able to find. I'm sorry I let you down. That's my fault though. I've been lazy myself, I'll admit it. But yeah, this is AJ with the Plexi Film Show, WXUT 88.3 FM. Please come back after this wonderful sounds and music of Monster House's original motion soundtrack. Enjoy. I'll be continuing with reviews. Like I said, I'll be reading comments that some of the people have left. So yeah, let me read some of these audience reviews. This person left a year ago, 5 out of 5 rating. The concept for this animated film is original. The spirit of a deceased wife possesses her husband's house and turning into a living monster with feelings as it fills up the husband's soul with grief and vicious anger. The heroes who will put an end to this catastrophe is a trio. That's literally just describing about. I want someone's personal opinions. Like, cinematic gem that transports you back to the captivating allure of 80s horror. That is true. Someone just literally read the description of the film. So Monsters House is a cartoon movie that is not your typical cartoon movie. It is. It's funny. It's quite freaky and scary for some viewers. It is very good. The movie was funny, scary, but at the same time very adventurous, and the voice acting was impressive. I agree to that. The voice acting is very impressive, very thought out, really emotionally attached to each character. So yeah. I want to try to find a bad review. Let me filter this. Let's go to 1 star. I want to find a short one because I don't. Okay, this movie is very weird and cringy. I can see the cringy part. Like I said, some of the references, some of the animations dated, but it's still good. I was having a movie night with my friend. We looked into horror because it was Halloween. We thought this would be scary or something, but no. We were totally wrong. 1, this is not meant to be scary. It's meant to be scary for kids, but not for adults. It's, 1, more of a childish scary movie. It's a family scary movie meant for all ages, not meant for horror. It's a good comedy family movie. Let's see here. The CGI wannabe versions of Greg Heffley and Raleigh Jefferson. 1, this movie came out way before those. Way before Greg and Raleigh. I'm just saying, this came out. When did the first book of Diary of a Kid come out? When did the first Diary of a Wimpy Kid start? 2007. So a year after Monster House, the first book came out. So you can't say it's a knockoff of Greg and Raleigh, because it isn't. It's wrong. 1 word, cringe. The animation is horrible and looks like a 10-year-old made this. If a 10-year-old can make this in 1987, I'd be very impressed. I'm not going to lie. Considering in 1987 we barely even had CGI as is, especially this way, no. A 10-year-old cannot do that in 1987. And so, I would love to see that. That'd be very interesting. I watched this movie at 4 years old. I've been traumatized ever since. The scene where they found the dead wife covered with concrete was the most. I'll admit that is the most terrifying part of the whole film. The rest of it, no, not scary at all. Over 18, watch at your own risk. That's funny. Let's continue. Horrible movie. Couldn't even watch it all the way through. Watched the first 20 minutes, and not even I had to stop it. It was quite disturbing, to be honest. A 16-year-old guy grabbed a stuffy from a kid and then made out with this. That is... Okay, that's... Like I said, this movie is dated. That reference specifically... or that action is definitely frowned upon until this day. But around the time this movie came out, it was just funny. Sure, it's still funny to this day, but it's not looked up upon. It's frowned down upon to this day. So that review is understandable. Like I said, but they're just focusing the whole movie because of that little thing. Sure, movies, like, you can focus on the most tiny things. You can focus on the graphics. You can focus on character. You can focus on every little thing about the film. But if you focus on something that's meant to be a joke, then I don't know. I wouldn't even want to watch a movie with you. I'm sorry. Ooh, that sounds like a good idea. If I ever get an audience big enough, watching a movie with my audience would be a really cool idea. I like that. Let's continue on with more. Let's see here. Bad story implied. 100% do not recommend this movie. One person found it helpful. It was great. I think that everyone should watch it. Why would you rate it a 1 star if you think it was great and you want everyone to watch it? It just doesn't make sense. I can, maybe see... Maybe just he liked it, but maybe he just wasn't a big fan of it. Such a bad movie. None of the characters are interesting, and the old man isn't scary, and neither is the house. It's not supposed to be scary. It's really not. AKA the animation's aged. CGI's... This specific CGI isn't as used as much as it used to be. It's changed. It's updated. There's a reason why we have a lot newer animations. We have comic book animations now. Comic style animations now. People are going to come back to those type of animations in 40 years. And they're going to think those comic style animations are really bad because they're choppy. It's just a stylistic choice. It's part of the director and the producer's choice on what they wanted. But anywho, I hope you guys enjoyed this 4th show. I want to do something for the 5th show to, celebrate. Or should I celebrate into the 10th? I might celebrate on my 10th show. I feel like that's more celebratorial. Or if I don't reach by 10 shows by the end of the school year, I will celebrate my last show of the year. So we'll see where we're at in numbers of shows. So yeah, I hope you guys really enjoyed this episode. Thank you so much for listening in. This is Monster House episode 4. This is WXUT 88.3. AJ with the Plexi Film Show. If you are interested in sending in some media that you would like me to talk about, or some questions that, I actually do have one more thing to answer, but I want to push this out there real quick before I answer one last question that I just came up with before ending this show. So, if you want to send me some media or some questions that you want me to answer during the show, please text me at Instagram. It is AJ_Reinick. And if you ever want to call in during the show on during my show times, which is on Sundays, 10 p.m. to 12 a.m., call the studio at 419-530-4455. Do not be afraid to call during my shows on Sundays. I will love to talk to you guys, with you guys about these media. I think it'd be fun. I want to try to get people on the show in the studio as well. I feel like that'd be fun. So yeah, one last question I want to answer to correlate with this episode. Ever since this movie's around Halloween time, the question that I came up with is, what is my favorite Halloween candy? My favorite Halloween candy would have to be Reese's and Snickers. I like them both because they're both really chocolatey. There's something inside of both, there's peanuts and caramel and Snickers, and Reese's is peanut butter. I like peanut butter. I like I like nuts. Nuts are pretty good. So yeah, this is the end of episode 4. We went over Monster House. This is AJ with the Plexi Film Show, WXUT 88.3. Please come in and listen to the next episode. See you guys later. I love you guys so much. I'll be finishing off the last 10 minutes of this, of you guys listening to the soundtrack. I hope you guys enjoy. So right at midnight, I'll end the soundtrack and continue on with our program that our studio has set up. So yeah, enjoy listening in to the last 10 minutes of the soundtrack.